They said the official deemed that Clark intentionally made contact, therefore a technical foul was assessed. No, you don't. That is a terrible call.
She got fouled twice and pushed into you. If you would have called one of the fouls, this wouldn't have been an issue. But because you are so piss poor at your job, you don't call anything. Now you're forced to. Now you're talking. Oh, she ran into me with her forearm. It was what? Call the first 2 fouls, man. She didn't say anything to you. She didn't mean to run into you. She clearly got bumped into you. So what do you give?
ESPN called up Adam Silver themselves. Like, Adam, you out your fucking mind with this dumbass referee suspending CC? Are you out your dumb mind with this foolish referee suspending CC for my Tuesday game? No.
Caitlin Clark was suspended, and then the decision was reversed. Between those two developments lies what many see as one of the strongest examples of questionable officiating in the WNBA, with critics arguing that the officials had already formed an opinion about her before the play in question even occurred. This wasn't a minor punishment. She wasn't simply fined, temporarily benched, or given a private warning after the game. Instead, she was ruled out through a suspension that forced her to miss a highly anticipated matchup against the New York Liberty, one of the most important games remaining on Indiana's schedule. However, the situation changed almost immediately after the league reviewed the incident more closely and reevaluated the original decision.
Can we talk about the Caitlin Clark play where she gets off balance and she goes into the referee? The referee takes a good 2 seconds and says, you know what, I'm going to hit her with a technical foul. I legitimately think, and the WNBA has since rescinded this would have been her 8th technical foul, she would have missed the next game. I think what I see right there on the screen is the single worst call in the history of basketball. I have never seen anything like it.
Yeah, it's brutal. And you know what's funny? They have now, and again, people are digging up the old clips, so that ref actually getting pushed and bodied and not calling up. And then you got Monica McNutt on that other network being like, I don't know, maybe it was the right call because I saw someone bump into a coach one time. It's crazy. That call was insane. They did rescind it, which is actually shocking. There was another Caitlin technical where she was mad at herself for missing a shot and she hit the stanchion and she got a T for that as well. So listen, the league is out of control. It's off the rails, and I can't stop watching. I've been preaching now for years that this league is the most passionate. They hate each other, the infighting, the dating, the cultural, the politics. In a league in the NBA where people like LeBron's do pally pals with everybody and everyone's kumbaya and no one really cares. This league, they don't like each other, and it's pretty exciting to watch.
The reversal didn't happen by chance, and it wasn't the result of a borderline call that could have gone either way. Many viewed the league's decision to overturn the suspension as an indication that the original ruling couldn't be justified once the play was carefully reviewed by those with the authority to re-examine it. That naturally led to a question that has continued to follow Clark throughout the season. If the mistake became so obvious during the review process, how was the original call made in the first place? And why does Clark repeatedly seem to find herself at the center of these controversial situations?
She got fouled. She got bumped into the what is that? What is that? First of all, you idiotic ref who probably should be collecting trash on Tuesdays and Thursdays or whichever day your trash men pick up your trash from your curb. First of all, if you would have called the first foul or the second foul, because she got bumped twice on that drive, which sent her into the baseline, which forced her to run into you. If you would have called one of the first 2 fouls, she would have never ran into you.
Here's the moment that set everything in motion. Clark was moving at full speed while pursuing a loose ball and trying to stay in bounds after being pushed off her path. In that situation, she couldn't instantly stop her momentum. As she continued forward, she made contact with an official, but there was no indication that the collision was intentional. It appeared to be the natural result of the play unfolding at a high pace. Whether you watch the sequence in real time, slow it down, or examine it from another angle, the conclusion remains the same for many observers. The contact looked more like an unavoidable consequence of momentum than an act of misconduct. Similar incidents occur throughout the season without attracting much attention. However, in Clark's case, the play resulted in her 8th technical foul of the season, triggering an automatic 1-game suspension.
We handled that business, and Caitlin Clark had an 8th technical foul rescinded. Won't be suspended Tuesday. Yeah, and the ref that did that mess, knowing that shouldn't even been happening. Yeah, let's go and get up out of here. I don't know if referees get licensed or what they get, but let's revoke them. Because at this point, all conspiracy theorists and people that say certain things look to be correct, because it's no way any human being with a brain in you don't even gotta be the smartest, just at least have a brain in your head, know that shouldn't have been a technical. So they either look like you against them, or they look like you're gambling.
That's the part that many people find most difficult to overlook. It's not simply that a foul was called incorrectly, because questionable calls happen in every sport. What stands out to critics is the player involved and how quickly the situation escalated into the harshest possible interpretation of a play that appeared accidental to many viewers. There was no obvious shove, no deliberate attempt to make forceful contact with an official, and no clear sign of intentional misconduct. Instead, the sequence showed a player moving at full speed, struggling to regain balance, and running out of space. Yet the ruling suggested that intent could be assigned to what many believed was simply an unavoidable consequence of momentum and movement.
Caitlin Clark telling Holly Rowe, I'll see you on Tuesday and I'll be playing, is absolutely crazy, but she's right. I mean, and I said in my live, I'm like, it's going to be rescinded. I'm pretty confident it's going to be rescinded. But Caitlin Clark called that shot. She said, I'll see you on Tuesday. Because, of course, Holly asked her about it right after the game. She's like, yeah, it was unintentional contact. I didn't even say anything to her. I said nothing.
Clark didn't respond the way many people would expect after receiving a suspension for something she maintained was unintentional. There was no shouting, no emotional outburst, and no confrontation with officials. Instead, she addressed the situation calmly, explaining that there was no intent behind the contact and that there hadn't been any exchange between her and the official. She also mentioned that she had already reviewed the play herself before being questioned about it. Even after watching the footage again, she still didn't believe the incident justified a suspension. Her reaction stood out to many observers. Rather than appearing frustrated or defensive, she remained composed throughout the discussion. Some critics argue that her response reflects a player who has spent months dealing with similar situations and no longer expects to receive the benefit of the doubt from officials because, in their view, those calls rarely seem to go in her favor.
She makes contact after kind of like stumbling a little bit, throwing the ball in, and she makes contact with the ref. The ref assesses Caitlin Clark with a technical, which some would be like, okay, not the biggest of deals. Maybe, go back and try to argue, whatever. But it was number 8, which makes number 8 be the one that will suspend her for the next game. Caitlin told Holly rather confidently, I'll see you on Tuesday. That was the fastest rescinded technical I've ever seen. Oh, I went to
It was like an hour after.
It was like technical, and then as soon as I was like technical rescinded right underneath, I was like, yeah, I think they got it right too. I don't think that there was any intention. Listen, I'm on her side on this one.
Clark's suspension sparked intense debate because many believe the contact with the official was clearly accidental. Both Clark and coach Stephanie White argued that there was no intent behind the play, while critics pointed to what they saw as a season-long pattern of inconsistent officiating. After Indiana quickly appealed the decision, the league reviewed the footage and rescinded Clark's 8th technical foul, allowing her to play against the New York Liberty. While many welcomed the reversal, the incident reignited concerns about officiating standards and raised broader questions about consistency, fairness, and the impact these controversies continue to have on the league.